A new episode of Versus. We've got some air purifiers. Okay guys, so this was a Christmas gift that I ended up getting. While the original gift was some power tools, I quickly realized Milwaukee's after watching some reviews for Milwaukee tools. They're pretty amazing. But anyways, that's a totally different channel. And here we have two different true HEPA filters. One by the Levoit company, which I actually like a lot of Levoit's salt lamps. This is not a Levoit salt lamp, but Levoit typically makes a lot of really good salt lamps. And we got Guy making a bunch of noise over there next to the filming process here. But anyways, so the Levoit one here is the more expensive model, whereas this Partu is very inexpensive. And which one is better, I'll let you be the judge, but this is the deal basically. So I just did a decibel recording for each one of the fan modes, 1, 2, and 3 here. And the number 1 is like a whisper, you can barely hear it. I basically had the wind blowing on the microphone for my camera here, and it was still doing the same thing. It was just a whisper. And then mode 2, is a little bit louder, not a huge difference, and mode 3 was about 54, 55 decibels, and still that was with the wind basically hitting the mic coming out of this. So if you're a little bit farther away than 3 to 6 inches, then it's going to be even quieter, right? Because that's the concept behind noise and stuff, right? So the cool things about this is it does have different modes where you can just turn off the little light that's actually back here behind it. This light can rotate, or I can stop it right there on the blue light if I want it, or if I hold down the light button, the light turns off. And if you hold down that light button one more time, all the lights turn off, so that during the night there's no light at all, which is better for sleeping in general. And this is a little filter thing. It tells you about the filter, and here's a anion button, which this produces, I think it said like 6 million negative ions, which can really bind to anything that's in your air and remove the odors very quickly. And that's a pretty convenient feature and can help to eliminate like really bad smells really quickly. The Levoit doesn't really have anything like that. And then it does have this filter cartridge time to change indicator where it'll turn on. The filter cartridge itself is a true HEPA filter, and it also has additional, both of them have additional carbon filtration. So they say these filters should last about a year, and the replacement filters I think are actually compatible for each one. I think it's basically the same size, and they can be bought in a lot of different places. But anyways, that would be good for this one. I did notice that they really do clean the air in about an hour when we first got them, and the very first time I turned them on, there was actually a bit of a carbon smell in the air. The only way that I know what a carbon smell smells like is through owning aquariums for a number of years. I ended up having charcoal filters that when you activate them underwater, it releases a smell that is kind of interesting and unlike pretty much anything else I've ever experienced. Either goes away within the first little bit of use, or it just disappears and you can't even notice it anymore because you got accustomed to it, kind of deal. Alright, so the Levoit has all the same 3 settings, and they are very similar in the overall sound quality. I'll make sure that I have those all together, and I'll put them in here, edited in right here. So 1 is a quieter whisper than the number 1 for the Partu, and number 2 is very similar to the number 2 setting on the other one, and the number 3 for the Levoit is probably a bit louder. I'm really curious as to why that is. This number 3 setting seems louder than the Partu number 3 setting. And I think it may just have to do with the vent at the top and how it's actually being vented. Because like with this has got more space and it comes out and is deflected. Whereas this, I don't know, it's weird. It's just a different design, I think, makes it seem a little louder, although it seems like the meter that I used just basically said it's all just 55 decibels. Both of them were pretty much 55 decibels on their high mode. So this does have a nighttime where it keeps it on very low, which is probably just the first setting. And then it's got the timers if you wanted only a 2-hour, 4-hour, or 8-hour. Usually I just leave it on all night in just the low mode. And for the lights, this has got the same setting. It's more apparent than the Partu. This is just a quick press instead of a long press on the light button. And then the lighting is here. That's got 2 different settings for the lighting, which this is kind of appealing lighting too, but I like the diversity of that Partu lighting, and 2 settings for that. So overall, I think it just depends. I mean, it's not like either one of them filters a ton better than the other one. I probably won't even use this anion thing to make the negative ions probably much at all. So that feature is probably nil. Like, I don't think it matters to me much at all. My favorite feature for this one is probably the changing light behind it, and it just cycles through all your normal LED light colors kind of deal. I think it just really depends on your overall desire for design. Like, I could see how a lot of people could think this is much prettier design, and maybe you have a lot of other white things around where this is going to be. Oh, there's another good idea. I'll actually measure the height of these things and the diameter so you guys can see that. So yeah, this thing stands just over 13 inches, whereas this one is 12 inches just up to kind of the bottom of that circle, and then is more about 15 inches tall, basically. Width, it's like, they're both very similar. It's like that one's 7.5 or so, and then we've got about 7.25, I guess, is my kind of guesstimate there on that, how wide it is. So yeah, like I said, Partu is probably my favorite. We keep one in the general area of our home and one in the upstairs area of our home, and I think they're both rated. I could put the specs in the description. That's probably just a better idea. So I would really suggest getting these if you want to sleep better at night, if you want to clear the allergens and mold and dust and anything else that's in your home or your office. Would highly suggest picking up a true HEPA filter. And another big reason that I wanted to get this is because I'd been doing a lot of deep breathing, because if you do just 10 deep breaths per day in 1 week, you're going to eliminate 3 pounds of toxins. And this can just really help and make sure that you're breathing in good quality air. So yeah, either one of these are a win, but this is the most affordable one, and this is probably the best one in my opinion, but I'm not getting rid of this one anytime soon either. It's a good quality air freshener too. And I pretty much leave these guys on all day long. Like this one, I'll just stay on 1 or 2. Maybe I'll turn it up if something happens that we need some quick air freshening. And of course, you got to keep your doors closed, windows closed. Otherwise, you're not going to have as much benefit, because you'll just keep on letting things in the air in your house. And the breezes, either 1, 2, or 3, they're not going to be able to compete with the amount of air that's probably coming into your home if you have windows and doors open that are not sealed, kind of deal. But anyways, guys, I think that'll be it for this review. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. May it be the best year you've ever had. And if you'd like, you can pick these up in the description. I'll have some links there. Stay healthy.